Hi, I wanted to talk a little bit about this video that was done by Indisputable that he showed where a customer stomped an employee with his steel toe boots while others employees watched. And I'm not going to talk about that in particular, but I wanted to talk about something, what it made me think about, which is how to respond and not stand there and antagonize people or watch when people are doing wrongdoing, if that is something that you feel you want to do but don't know how. Something like that. Some topics are difficult to talk about because they may hurt personally, or you're not supposed to talk about them, or people are uncomfortable and don't want to be exposed by you talking about them. And another thing is just difficult when you're dealing with hard, difficult things to talk about. So I wanted to talk about this one a little bit on a different level, just to share my experiences and share what I have learned navigating through the workplace environment when you see wrongdoing, which is extremely important in a large workplace environment, large stressful workplace environment, like the maybe a hospital setting or something like that, right? And so this case where they stomped the female with his steel toe boots, that's pretty extreme. But things do happen in the workplace environment, and when it gets to that point, you're like, oh my God, you learn people, you start to understand people, personalities, and behaviors. When I just said that, I just thought about one thing I really, really love is the DISC personality assessment, and then in the Myers-Briggs and the Enneagram. And so through learning even more, reading and listening, life is just so much more than that when we look at the personalities and things of that nature, right? So in the workplace environment, when we get into situations like that, I think this is only for those that want to speak up and they don't feel as though they can. They don't feel as though they know how to. They don't feel as though it'll make a difference. But they want to. Something nags at them in their soul, and they're like, they go home and say, man, why didn't I say something? Why did I sit there and watch wrongdoing? Or even why did I participate in wrongdoing? That's not me, but I'm going along to get along with everyone else. And it starts with the small things that you see and hear. And that's how you start to develop your voice and who you are, and let people know who you are and where you stand in the workplace environment. So one situation I can give is that, talking about somebody's work ethic and discussing why they work a certain way, this and that, and a person says they use their body structure, whether that's, they say that skinny person, that fat person, that ugly person, that person that think they all that in a bag of chips too cute, or they'll use those type of descriptions to belittle the person, rather than talking about and trying to come up with a solution about the work ethic or the things that need to be, need to get done. So I find myself, I say, hey, wait, we're not going to go there talking about somebody's body parts. If we're going to discuss, how they should work and this and that or whatever, or you're discussing what your complaint is, we can leave out the body parts. There's no need for all that. And they'll stop in their tracks, and they won't, depending on who you're talking to, they'll listen to you. And they know not to mess with you with that. You know what I'm saying? And you don't have to be nasty, say it in the same degrading way that they speak of the other person. You could be professional and say it with dignity and respect, even though it gets under your skin, and you probably want to just yell at them and roll your eyes and but you can verbalize that to them in a decent manner. And it's, stuff like that starts off small. Let them know ahead of time. Okay, so I'm gonna have to read something because people be like, what are you talking about? You're just running your mouth with no information or whatever. And so what I'm talking about is understanding that the dynamics in the workplace and responding to injustice or wrongdoing, right? So in any workplace, particularly in high stress environments like hospitals, it's crucial to foster a culture of respect and support. So when witnessing acts of injustice or bullying, such as the example, of the man that verbally assaulting this black woman, it is essential to navigate the situation thoughtfully. And here's some ways to respond effectively without joining in and exacerbating the conflict. One thing that's pretty annoying is when we antagonize people to get them more upset and then wind up calling the police and say, look at them, look at them, look at them. They're out of control. But what the hell did you do to get them out of control, right? We don't look at that. So number one is recognizing the situation. Before reacting, take a moment to assess what is happening. Is this a one-time incident or part of a large pattern? A larger pattern that they're consistently doing with certain types of people or certain type of behaviors or certain type of personalities, right? The more and more you are in a workplace environment, you get to understand and know that. Understanding the context can help you determine your response. So number one, observe. Pay attention to the dynamics at play. Are others complacent by their silence? We become jaded. Is there an established hierarchy that might intimidate individuals from speaking out? That's a biggie right there. That's why we do keep quiet. We got to protect ourselves, protect our job, protect our monies, because we live and live comfortably in our homes and, need our paychecks, right? So we got to be careful.
Acknowledge feelings is the next one. Recognize that witnessing such behaviors can evoke strong emotions, anger, fear, guilt. It is important to process these feelings before taking action. So, depending on how long you've been in the work environment, depending on your relationships in the work environment, it depends on whether you take action or not, whether you want to or not. And even if you want to and you don't have to feel guilty about not taking action because it's not your personality, right? It's not for everyone. Here, they talk about choosing your response. When faced with inappropriate behavior, you have several options for responding. Direct intervention. If you feel safe, that's the key there. Safe and comfortable within in yourself. Doing so, you can directly address the aggressor by saying something like, "That's not appropriate. We should treat each other with respect." This approach requires courage, but can be effective in stopping harmful behavior. Now, for many years, I can tell you, we walk past something, see something, we have learned, just like we learned to hate each other, we learned to turn the blind eye, turn our heads. I know, growing up in New York and living in New York, once I get on that train in Queens and head to Manhattan, I had to put the face on. Whatever I see, I turn my head like I don't see it. And the same thing in, domestic violence or racial attacks and things of that nature, Um, this is a difficult topic to talk about. All right. Support the victim. After the incident, check in with the person who was targeted. Now, people will pull you back and ask you, what the hell are you doing? Why are you helping that person? Why are you even talking to that person after we disrespected them? Depending, again, who you are, how comfortable you are, and what do you feel, and what's your mission. Express your concern and offer support. You might say, "I saw what happened. I'm really sorry you had to experience that." This helps validate their feelings and show that they are not alone. Like, if you can't approach those that are doing wrong, depending on their position within the organization, you can find a way to talk to the victim. Let them know they are not alone. Validate their feelings. If you feel the need, it all depends on the situation, case by case, pick your battle type deal, report the incident. If direct intervention feels too risky, or if the behavior is severe like harassment, consider reporting. Always documenting incidents can help create a record that may lead to necessary actions being taken, whether then or at a later date. Speaking up when ready. It is important to recognize that everyone has different thresholds for speaking up based on personal experiences and comfort levels. This is why, and I have learned, our backstory is very important, where we come from. Self-reflection. Reflect on your values and what standing up means for you personally. Understand that it is okay not to react immediately. Sometimes processing an event takes time. The next one is find your voice, not somebody else's voice, your voice that lays within your soul and how you feel. Practice articulating your thoughts about workplace injustices in low stakes environments. Perhaps discussing hypothetical scenarios with friends or colleagues. I'll add to that, find your like-minded people. Real life examples in hospital settings. Here are some examples of wrongdoing can manifest in various forms. Disrespectful treatment of staff. For example, nurses being belittled by doctors doing rounds can create a toxic atmosphere. Another one is patient discrimination. A healthcare worker may witness colleagues making biased remarks about patients based on race or socioeconomic status. In these situations, use similar strategies as mentioned above. Observe carefully. Choose whether to intervene directly or supportively later on and report if necessary. So here, we talk about, and I'm learning about personalities and behaviors. So tread lightly as you observe and choose your battles, case by case scenarios, and know when to intervene. Know your people that you're talking to. Know, because people will devalue you. They will it's something called Darvo, where they will switch the scenario onto you and make you look like the bad person, that you're the one that's causing the problem, things of that nature. So be careful at who you intervene with and talk to about certain situations. Managing guilt for not acting. Those that do not act because they don't feel comfortable or whatever the reason is, it's nothing wrong with you for not acting. Feeling guilty for not defending someone immediately is common, but should be managed constructively. Understand your limits. You know your background. You know your backstory. You know your limits and what you can handle and what you cannot handle. So it says recognize that everyone has different capacities for confrontation based on their personality and circumstances. Learn from experiences. If you didn't speak up when you wanted to, reflect on why that happened and how you might handle similar situations differently in the future. Me personally, I have battled that in many different situations and had to look into myself and say why, and learn myself and say why, and then learn about other personalities and behaviors and understand why. So to end this, I'm going to say navigating workplace injustices require careful consideration of personal safety and emotional readiness. By recognizing situations clearly, choosing appropriate responses based on comfort levels, supporting those affected by wrongdoing, and managing feelings of guilt constructively. Individuals can contribute positively to their work environment without composing their own well-being. Something to think about, something that is not easy, something to think about. Have a good day, y'all. Peace.